look at the weather.
It's beautiful here.
Non-stop rain.
Oh, man, it is a blazer out there.
It's cold and it's shivery.
It is cold.
Really coming down here.
I really enjoy your weather reports.
From the All Indiana Podcast Network, we're talking weather in a whole new way. From historical events to what's coming up, plus weather news, science, safety, fun facts, and more.
I like where this is going.
This is Weather Weekly. Weather Weekly with Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey.
It is Weather Weekly here for February 24th, a Thursday, as now we keep an eye on another wave of winter weather coming through. So this will be another snow talk episode where it may be a little bit more ice talk than it is snow talk for at least the metro area as we gear up for your Thursday afternoon. So we're going to have the latest on what you can expect. I think it's going to be a problematic evening drive for many across not just central Indiana, but for much of the state as another wave of winter weather takes aim on central Indiana. We'll talk about that next here on Weather Weekly.
Audible's romance collection has something to satisfy every side of you. When it comes to what kind of romance you're into, you don't have to choose just one. Fancy a dalliance with a duke, or maybe a steamy billionaire. You could find a book boyfriend in the city and another one tearing it up on the hockey field. And if nothing on this earth satisfies, you can always find love in another realm. Discover modern rom-coms from authors like Lily Chu and Allie Hazelwood, the latest romantasy series from Sarah J. Maas and Rebecca Yarros, plus Regency favorites like Bridgerton and Outlander. And of course, all the really steamy stuff. Your first great love story is free when you sign up for a free 30-day trial at audible.com/Wondery. That's audible.com/Wondery.
Another Snow Talk version here of Weather Weekly. Good to be with you. It's Thursday, February 24th, 2022, as today is the day that we'll be dealing with some of this winter weather. Now, we've already had round one, so if you've been kind of with us the last couple of days, I'm recording this at about 9 o'clock on this Thursday morning, and kind of played out how we thought. I'd say probably a little more freezing rain than we had and than anticipated, as opposed to snow. There was a little bit of a dusting of snow, I know, leaving for work about 1:30 this morning, coming into Indianapolis, but there was definitely a glaze. Now, the roads were pretty well treated, the main ones were, but I know that there was some slick conditions. We had several accidents, especially between the 4 a.m. and 6 a.m. hour, that did create some issues. But I think as the road temperature kind of warmed and some of that salt went to work, that roads did get a little bit better. And I was covering traffic between the 7 and 9 o'clock hour Thursday morning. It did seem a little more improved compared to what we were looking at between 4 a.m. and 6 a.m. So that was some good news. Now, as we kind of get through the midday and early afternoon hours, we're kind of in the lull. We still are waiting on this second wave that's going to come in. And I'm just kind of looking at, as I'm talking to you, the new high resolution guidance that's coming in. Timing, I think what we've been talking about in terms of our forecast is good. I think the track is still very good. I-70 is going to be that battleground. To the north, you're going to be dealing with all snow. To the south, it's going to be all rain. And basically 20 miles north and 20 miles south of I-70 will kind of be that zone where we're going to have a mixed bag. Now, it'll be interesting. The key component here that we're going to watch is the road temperature. And I showed it a lot on Daybreak this morning, where the air temperature is not going to be as much as important for the most part as the road temperature will when it comes to freezing rain specifically. Okay. Now, I do think we're going to kind of have some bouts of sleet. And I had a podcast not that long ago. You can search back. So I don't want to spend too much time on this because we want to just kind of quickly get to the nuts and bolts of the forecast. But since we have different precip types involved here, just know that sleet and freezing rain and snow are all very much dictated on what's going on kind of at the surface, but more so several hundred feet or even 1,000 feet, thousands of feet above the surface. When it comes to sleet or freezing rain, it means that there is a warm nose of air above the surface that we don't feel that is melting what's starting as snow coming from the cloud, melted into liquid, and then how shallow that warmer air is aloft. Either it refreezes and falls as an ice pellet, so that's sleet, or it stays liquid long enough. When it hits the ground, it's rain, but then your surface temperature is freezing, and so it freezes on contact. That's what freezing rain is. So going by that definition and watching what we're looking ahead to, it looked like to me the onset of this precipitation was probably going to start around 2, 3, 4 o'clock, kind of in the mid-afternoon time frame from west to east, okay? So as that kind of rolls through, it looked like our road temperatures were probably going to be still in the around 40-degree range around the metro area. But it's advertising some sort of frozen precipitation. So it could be rain, but it would just be a chilly rain, but more so probably sleet as we kind of get going into the afternoon, because I think our air temperatures will be very close to freezing, maybe around 33, 34 later this afternoon. So this may start as sleet for us in the metro, maybe some snow. Either way, I think that creates some problems. My concern is by around 5, 6, 7 o'clock that we cool enough that our road temperature kind of gets down to near freezing. And so if that happens, we could be dealing with kind of a freezing rain or an icing event in spots. I don't know if it's necessarily going to be widespread. I'm not worried about enough that it would create power outages. I'm specifically concerned with roads being and becoming slick. And with a lot of people on the road, you're not going to be able to, I mean, they're going to be out pre-treating today. So hopefully that will be good in terms of the interstates, major roads, that kind of stuff. Side streets, your driveway, sidewalks might get a little bit icy. So just keep that in mind here. I just think it's going to be a very difficult commute. I don't think it's going to be shutdown type of stuff. But obviously it's all kind of, when you get into these kind of events, it's all very much chain reactionary, right? If you end up getting a couple of incidents, then they can just kind of feed off themselves. People are slowing down. They may be traveling too fast for conditions if they think that the roads are better than what they really are. So just use caution. We've certainly been through worse events. We've been through worse events this year with the big snow that we had 3 weeks ago. But ice is always problematic. And we noticed it this morning because, sometimes you just don't know the difference unless there's puddles there. You don't know the difference to whether the ground is wet or the ground is icy. And it doesn't take much freezing rain to just ruin your day when you're traveling at speed. So just use some caution as you're rolling through the afternoon and evening drive. Now, that's for the metro area specifically. I do think we may see a little bit of freezing drizzle even through the late evening hours, through I'd say 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. I am optimistic at this point that we should clear most of the moisture out of here by daybreak on Friday. So that should give crews hopefully enough time to kind of clear things out for everybody heading into work for the morning hours. So, we'll look to the northern third of the state for snowfall accumulation. I kind of trimmed things back a little bit. It's just not real aggressive on snow. I'm going to go 2 to 4 inches from a Lafayette to Kokomo to Marion and Point's north line. Around the Indy metro area, we kind of went with 1 to 2, but I think that may be even a little bit high, just considering that I think we're going to get more ice and sleet than snow. But we're kind of maybe combining a little bit of sleet in with the snow, so that could amount total of around 1 inch in the Indy metro area, maybe a little bit more than that when you get up north. We'll see. And then south of I-70, I think you've got some sleet and nice potential, but I think it's also going to be a lot of rain as well. So once you get kind of in the southern third of the state, it's kind of an all-rain event for you here. Again, not a blockbuster system by any stretch, but it comes with its own host of problems. I am more concerned, obviously, with the ice potential and when it's happening, because it's going to be right during the teeth of this, will be right during the heart of the evening drive. Okay, so if you're listening to this podcast, say around lunchtime, or any part of during the afternoon hours, thank you, first of all. But second of all, just just use caution when you're traveling during the afternoon hours. If you have some mid-evening events, I think we're still running into some problems. We probably won't wind everything down until mid-evening tonight, late night tonight. And that's when things and conditions should start to get a little bit more quiet. And I do think things for your Friday should be a little bit more quiet as well. Chilly, but it should be dry. So that's the good news there. So all eyes will be to the afternoon hours. We will have you covered with News 8 at 5 and 6. Updates always online, wishtv.com. We're always updating our social media as well. If things start to get a little bit dicey here, picking up in the afternoon and evening hours, you can bank that we will be covering that both on air and online as well on wishtv.com. We're going to have the rest of your forecast. I promise you, if you've been with me the last couple of days, you're going to like the changes that are up and coming after a cold stretch of days and kind of a bumpy road here the last couple of days, very much winter-like. It looks improved as we enter into March. We'll have that extended forecast coming up next year on Weather Weekly. Here's a look at your extended forecast here as we look ahead to the end of February. March just around the corner. Once we get kind of past this winter mess here later tonight, we should quiet things down for the next several days. So there's some good news. Now, we're going to stay on the chilly side. It looks like Friday, a lot of cloud cover. There could be a few light early morning snow showers for the northern third of the state, but I don't think we're going to be dealing with major issues there. As we go into your Friday, much of the day, I think kind of cloudy. We'll have temperatures into the low and mid 30s heading into your Friday afternoon. The weekend, we'll start to see some improvement. It's going to be a chilly start. I've got numbers into the low and mid 30s Saturday, but we're going to see a lot of sunshine, but much improved by Sunday. I think highs are into the 40s also with sun. Pretty significant warm up, I think, on tap here. We're going to close out the month of February. Not bad. If you remember just a couple of days ago, we were talking about that Monday could be much colder. We're continuing to bump that number up. So I think really Sunday, the beginning of this nice warm up, will continue to build on that for Monday highs in the mid 40s. It looks like the middle of next week, we should be at least making a run at least the upper 40s, mid 40s at worst, but upper 40s and maybe even low 50s in spots. That's Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And looking at the national blend of models, which we like to do, it kind of blends all of the projections together, kind of put us into the mid 50s by Friday and Saturday heading into next weekend. So not bad. Something to look forward to after all of this mess that we've been talking about for the last several days. So something to look forward to here. Thank you, all of you, for checking in on some of these special Snow Talk podcasts that we've jumped in on here with this winter system moving through. We'd love to hear your feedback. If you're a fan of the podcast, make sure you subscribe and give us a rating as well. If you want some suggestions on normal weeks when it's quiet, we try to cover a whole host of weather topics. I believe Severe Weather Preparedness Week will be kicking off next week, and with it being quiet, we'll be talking about some severe weather of the past and looking ahead to this year's severe weather season, which you know is just around the corner. But we always want to hear your feedback as well. You can email me anytime, marcus.bailey@wishtv.com. You can also find me on social media at Marcus Bailey on Twitter, and Marcus Bailey Weather is what you search for on Facebook and Instagram, and that will get you to my pages. Feel free to send me a message if you have any ideas or comments or concerns. We'd love to hear your feedback. While you're here, a lot of my colleagues work very hard here to put out some other great content in terms of podcasts. You can check those here on the All Indiana Podcast Network. Stay safe. We'll talk to you next week.
Discover more. Discover more from Storm Track 8 Weather and Wish TV. Online at wishtv.com and when you follow Wish TV on Facebook. Plus, be sure to check out more great podcasts from the All Indiana Podcast Network now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.